Sego Sewa Guego de Hanani Aguedoros Yungyats. My English name is David Robert Miracle. I come from Gandege, aka Tyndonega Mohawk territory, just down the road about a half an hour on the beautiful bay, the shores of the Bay of Quinte. So I use a lot of the materials I use are all natural. I go into the woods along the shorelines and into different landscapes, find stone. Sometimes people bring me stone. I work in a variety of different stones. A lot of driftwood, a lot of natural wood. I don't kind of use boards and stuff. I try to find weather beaten woods and antlers. I use a lot of antlers and furs and feathers in my work. Just all natural stuff to show, that we can take nature and play around with it, manipulate it a little bit, and kind of turn it into something to speak with. And that's our people have been doing that for thousands of years with everything from clay pots to beadwork to pipes and all different things. My inspiration for most pieces that I do are about our cultural teachings, about being part of teachings and historical values that have been passed down to us, and keeping the momentum going and keeping it in the minds and in the hearts of our people, especially the young people, to see and get a clear understanding of who they are and what they can grasp onto to help guide them through life. The symbolisms and all the things to follow with my pieces can really help the youth dig deeper to learn about who they are.
I think what it represents, I think it signals that Indigenous experiences, voices, and stories are invited into spaces like this and belong here in public institutional spaces. And they're here to stay and open for everybody to enjoy and take part in Indigenous knowledge.
Well, I would say students play one of the biggest roles in that because first, I think we have to start by educating ourselves on the history of Indigenous culture in our country. And then from there, we can go about on spreading awareness and educating others as well. And also, I think it's both our responsibility and we should be aware of the history of our country.
I think it's very easy to assume, like, you hear the word story, it's very quick to make the assumption of, like, oh, it must be in a book. But there are so many other ways of storytelling, specifically in Indigenous culture. And so having an art piece that does convey a message and does convey knowledge in a way that's not a typical book helps to show that it's important to include Indigenous ways of knowledge and learning into both your personal and academic life.
I did spend some time near the artwork because in between classes, this is one of the spaces that students sit in. And it's a great place to study, and you can't help but think about it, I think, when you're in that space, so, because it is quite the focal point now. And I guess I really was thinking about the story behind it. I just wanted to know more.
Well, I hope not just our Indigenous students, but I hope people from all over the world that end up in this country looking for a better life will look at the Indigenous platform that we have set forward in this country, and they can take away some great Gondorunqua love medicine from our people. Our people love to create, our people love to tell stories. We're all about the oral tradition and keeping things alive that way. It's great to be in circles and hear the stories and the music, and the things being told about our people. It really adds value, to see people sitting around with different smiles and things on their face that they just feel like they've accomplished a big deal sitting in an Indigenous circle, and learning about history, and everything from residential schools to, to why we do what we do and why we gather when we gather. There's seasons for everything for our people. And we've taught a lot to the newcomers so far, and there's still a lot more to learn about our people and the gifts and the values we have to offer the world.
I would invite other students into the space in a really sort of friendly way, like, do you want to study in this cool spot that I found on campus? It's a really contemplative piece here. It's really interesting. Like, let's take a couple minutes before we start studying to look at it and then talk about it after, or just study near it and enjoy it.
I would definitely tell them to stop by between classes, or even if they're just studying at the library, to come by and check it out. I would encourage them to like slow down, pause, and truly reflect on what the artwork means.
I think it's a great physical reminder that we are on the traditional lands of the Haudenosaunee and Anishinaabe people, and so it is a great, and it's a very thing, it'll draw your attention. So if you're walking by, it's a very easy physical reminder that this land, there were people here before us, and so it's always important to remember those people and remember their voices and their stories and their messages.
So I'll do a song. I'll do a song called "Walking with the Elders." It's a song that that's really dear to my heart because that's what I do. I walk with the elders, and that's where I learn my stories and gain a lot of that knowledge and that wisdom that I'm able to walk with, and that path I'm able to walk on. And not just the elders, but the youth too. They teach a lot as well as they're growing up looking for that knowledge and that wisdom. They ask questions that make me dig deeper and want to give a little bit more. So I will look to answer their questions by doing a piece of art like this one called Sundance.